An in-depth video on the start page may not sound like the most exciting topic, but I'd urge you to stick around because there could be some details here that you'll see that could save you a lot of frustration and headaches in the future when you're working with Studio One. So we're going to cover every little detail here. And again, don't judge a book by its cover. There's some cool little tips that are going to be sprinkled throughout this video. So we're going to start at the very top left corner, and we have our little menu bar. We're not going to talk too much about this because this just has general controls like most any application. And a lot of what's in that menu is going to be found here as well. So below our menu bar, we have a batch converter. So this is going to allow us to import multiple audio files. Say we'd like to apply a particular process to all of those files, like separating a stereo track into two mono tracks. We can import those files in this section here, and then within our process track, say if I wanted to repair, I can repair the sample rate for those files that I imported, and then we'll have process that's available if we had some files here, and we can process multiple audio files all at once, which can save us a lot of time. So I'm going to remove that, and let's go out of here. I'll do a separate, more in-depth video on the batch converter in the very near future. Now we can exit out of here by again clicking on that button. To the right of that, we have a SoundCloud client button. Now with this, we can link our SoundCloud account if we have one and upload our tracks directly to that SoundCloud account. We then have our macro organizer here. So all of the macros that are available within Studio One, we can access and organize here. Macros are simply buttons or shortcut keys that have multiple actions applied to them. So for instance, if we scroll down a bit, I have split to impact, and we can see the description here, split drum loops and send to, let's expand that out to sample 1. And I've added a shortcut for Alt B. So if I click once to select that, I can click on edit, and we can see the particular actions that are contained within this macro. And let's cancel out of there. If I click on shortcut, we're taken to the shortcut window within the options, and we can see the shortcut that's been assigned to this, and we can add a new shortcut or remove this one and change it. Let's cancel out of there. We can also delete this macro. If we'd like to add a new macro, we can click on New up above. All right, but we'll go ahead and cancel out of there. Now moving on, we have New, which is going to bring up our new song dialog or new project, new show page, whatever we'd like to work on. By default, we're going to be on Record and Mix, and we can make various adjustments to the song that we're going to work on. We have Master and Release, which is going to take us to the project page, Rehearse and Perform, which is going to take us to the show page, and so on. One useful item here is if you have a audio interface from Presonus, we can choose audio interfaces down at the bottom. And then at the top here, we have interface template. We can navigate to the Presonus audio interface that we have selected, and the inputs and outputs for that audio interface are going to be set up for us within this song that we create. Okay, our user templates, we can find those here if we've set any up. Let's cancel out of here. We next have Open, and by default, this is going to go to our Studio One folder. Now, I've changed the default location for my Studio One folder because it's on my desktop, Aquana Audio folder, and then Studio One. But then you can navigate to your songs, any projects. And so if I were to come to the songs, I'll double click. We can see that I have finished tracks and in progress. And take a mental note of this because this is going to come up in another second here. But this is pulling from the location. Let's control comma to bring up the options menu. We'll come to locations. So whatever you have set here, and by default, this is going to be within your documents folder and then the Studio One folder. That's where this open button is going to take you to. So again, you can see desktop, Quanta Audio, and Studio One, as we saw when I clicked on that. So then we have songs, and this again is pulling from that default location that we have set up, and you can see when I said take a mental note, finished tracks and in progress, it's going directly to, let's again control comma, this location here and the songs folder within here. Let's actually, okay, so I can't right click on that to go to that location. Then projects, so this is going to go to the projects folder within that Studio One folder. And this one will take us to the shows folder within that default location. Okay, but let's come back to the recent files. And then down below, we're going to see a list of songs that we've recently created and have or opened up and that we're working on. Now, if you're a prolific songwriter, this can end up getting really a long list here, but we do have the option to hover on the left-hand side. I can click on that pin icon. Notice we have this that shows up at the top. I'll pin this one as well. And so these are just going to stick around, and we also can click on this disclosure arrow, and then they're all going to be contained within this little folder. So if you have a ton of songs that are in the recent items panel here and you pin a few, you don't have to search for those through the list and do scrolling. You can just click on this disclosure arrow and you're going to see everything that you've pinned up at the top here. If we'd like to remove them, we can just hover again and left click. Now we also have a search field where we can search. So if I type in SOL, then that's going to show our Solitudinum song. I'll go ahead and clear out that search so we can see everything again. Now, I really want to focus on some actions that we have available when I right click on these songs, because this is part of where I mentioned about some of my students get frustrated. They want to do certain things or they're having certain problems. We have some useful options when we right click on these songs. So I'll just come to this top one and right click. Now, we can see information on this version that's showing in the recent files list when it was last used. We also can access auto-saved versions for this song. So if we'd like to go back in time, maybe we save some changes that we didn't want and we'd like to go back to a previous version, we can do that here. We can see information on the day, the date, and the time. And I can't tell you how many times I've had a student, we're in a meeting, and they're frustrated because the song has changed and they want to go back to a previous time and they have no idea that this exists here just by right-clicking on the file. Now, towards the bottom here, we have this open with options. Now, if we select this, we have this little window where we can choose do not load Personas plugins or do not load third-party programs, disable ARA support. So if we have a problematic song that's crashing Studio One whenever we open it, then we can troubleshoot by checking some of these boxes. And so if you had a third party that's crashing the plugin, then you can check this box, click OK. Your song will open up, and then you can disable or remove those particular third party plugins that are giving you a problem. So just know this could be a useful lifesaver for you there. Let's again right click. We then have Show and Explore. So if I click on this, then this is just going to take us to the location of this song file. And so we're inside of that folder, Solitudinum, and then that's within the finished tracks, songs, and this would be in my Quanta Old Audio folder on the desktop. That's that file path that we've seen a couple times now in this video. All right, so if you ever want to quickly go to the specific location where these songs are stored at on your system hard drive, just right click and then choose to Show and Explore, or it will be Show and Finder on the Mac. Now, if you'd like to remove any of these, so say these, when I right click, we have a message that no versions are found. So I may not want to keep that there if there are no versions found. I can then come to the bottom and remove from recent files list. Okay, so next we can set up an artist profile for ourselves or other artists that we may be working with. If I click on the ellipsis here, then this is going to open up the Explorer. On Windows or the Finder on Mac, you can navigate to an image and choose an artist image here. We can put in a name for the artist, the genre, a website, and if you'd like to add multiple artists, then you can click on this little paper icon and add a new artist from here. Now, at the bottom, we have our setup area. So if I click on this Windows Audio, this is going to take us to the Options menu and the Audio Setup tab. And from here, I can then select my audio interface or any other audio interfaces that we may have connected. Let's cancel out. We can see our sample rate and the samples. Configure audio device is going to take us to that same window for selecting an audio interface. Let's again cancel. We can configure external devices. So if you have any external controllers that you'd like to set up, we can click on that, and then we're taken to external devices of our options menu. I can then click on Add. Here we have some manufacturers to the left. So if your manufacturer is here, then you can expand that folder out and your device may be in here, you could select it. And then if it's connected via USB, you can click on this menu and choose it from there. Okay, but we will cancel out of this window. Now, if we've set up audio or MIDI controllers and we need to do some editing, we can just simply select it, click on edit, and then make adjustments to its settings here. Okay, we'll go ahead and cancel out of this window. Now, we can check for updates. And we can see About Studio One. This will show the version number that we're using and some other details. We then have the news feed from Presonus. And moving on to the top right hand corner, we can see my little logo here. And if I click on this, we can sign out of our account. Or if you're not signed in, you can choose to sign in. You can click on this to edit your profile. That will take you to the Presonus website, where you can add more details to your profile there. Now, these two buttons here are grayed out, but I think it is important to be aware of what these are. So let's click on the new to create a new song. I'll just leave it on the defaults and click OK. Now we can see that this little house icon is illuminated where it was grayed out before on the start page. And this house icon just basically takes us back to the home page. Okay, now I'm going to create another, actually, let's cancel out of there. Nope. I want to do that. Let's create another song. Okay, so now look at that single page is now multiple pages stacked on each other. So this is going to allow us to switch. You can't really tell because I haven't done anything with these, but we're now toggling between the two songs that we've created. I'll click on the house icon to come back. Let's create a third song. I'll click OK. So now when I click on this, we can see a drop-down menu to choose between the three songs that we've created. So if you have two songs open, this will toggle between the two. If you add three or more, then you'll get the drop-down menu to choose which song you would like to work on. Okay, let's again click on the little house icon to come back to the start page. I'm going to click on New one more time. Let's choose Master and Release to go to the project page. Okay, so now when we click on this page icon, we can see we can choose between our three songs that we've created, but we can also choose the project. So if I choose our first song here, now I'll click on this and I can go to the project if I'd like to work on that. And of course, if we'd like to go back to the start page, I can just click on the little house icon. All right, so we will wrap up here. I hope this has been useful, and I hope that you found some good tips that are going to help you out, and maybe you've seen some things that you've been wanting to know how to do, and now you can. If you're interested in one-on-one training with me over Zoom, I do offer that, and you can find more information about that by clicking on the pinned comment below or checking out the description area of this video. And other than that, I hope to see you in the next tutorial.